You want the special sauce, the super special sauce, the secret sauce, or the chunky sauce? Yeah, we're out of that. Here's your food. Sorry. Welcome to Majestic Burger, where we put the fun in the bud. Can I help you?
I'll have a number 4 with hash browns. Hold the onions. I'm on break. No onions. Ninguna cebolas, por favor. Hello? Just the hash browns? This isn't on the schedule. What department are you from? These people are not meant to die now.
Out of my way!
I don't think you understand what I'm trying to say.
I don't think you understand.
This happened.
Hey, let's go already. I'm gonna pickle if this takes much longer. I've had my cocoon for hours.
Only because you took mine.
You found another one, snitch.
Dead Guppy has discovered quite a specimen as well. Indeed, it appears that DJ and Pandora are the last to acquire a cocoon.
And the last one back gets the tab at Majestic Burger.
Hello everyone and welcome to Death Jr. Root of Evil. As this is a Wii game, we are moving DJ with the Wii Remote and Nunchuck, and we can center the camera behind us, but the game does a really good job of doing this by itself. So I don't often use the recenter camera button, but I do rotate the camera.
What the hell are these things? Do mushrooms normally have arms and legs and teeth? No, and frankly, it's unnatural.
Quite. That's not the kind of behavior you expect from your typical fungus.
You may have already noticed that Death Jr. puts a startling amount of focus on its characters for a combat-focused 3D platformer.
Hey, people with cocoons. Let's roll.
We can monitor their progress via our new communicator. It will allow us to see and hear everything.
The two conjoined twins are Smith and Weston. Weston has the deep voice and Smith has the high voice, and they're both geniuses, although they have separate characters.
According to our calculations, you can get extra lift if you swing your weapon. We've ascertained that the mushrooms are most dangerous at close range.
So use your guns. Blam blam.
This being a Wii game, we do aim our guns by pointing the Wiimote at the sensor bar. It works fairly well, and I do find it more convenient than aiming guns with the right analog stick, as most games would have you do. The game tries hard to make both melee combat and long-range combat seem useful.
We just finished building a teleporter.
It's only working on inanimate objects right now. Perhaps we can send crates to you filled with goodies.
And here we have an in-universe explanation for the ammo and health crates we'll find throughout the game. The explanation may not quite add up depending on how you think about it, but we might get into that later. It's still interesting that they tried to create an in-universe explanation, though, instead of just plopping ammo crates everywhere.
Try jumping, and then using your weapon to launch yourself.
Hey, look at all the pretty fireflies. Fireflies usually run from you. I don't know what this stuff is, but it seems attracted to us.
Strange energy that is magically drawn to you is bound to be good, right, Smith?
I concur. In fact, I would hypothesize that these particles must come from somewhere. Perhaps a yellowish pod.
Death Jr. Root of Evil does make a few jokes in regards to common video game design tropes such as experience orbs that magically fly into your character. And no, they never get fully explained. But when we collect enough of these experience orbs, we will earn new melee moves, which is incredibly important as one of them acts as a kind of replacement for the dodge button which the other Death Jr. games had. This is the only main Death Jr. title not to feature a dodge button, and that's fine, they reworked the game design to fit with that, but that does mean we want to get the first upgrade as soon as possible. Now let's briefly talk about this hover move we've been using. You learn fairly early in the game that when exactly you activate the hover is very important. It's not a double jump by any means, and you have to use it at just the right point if you actually want to reach that platform you're aiming for.
This is so boring. What are we looking for?
Oh, we're finding cocoons to learn more about metamorpho... What's this?
Yes, metamorphosis. The process whereby the average transforms into the outstanding. Like caterpillars into butterflies, man into cockroach. Fascinating.
We just need to hike into the woods and cut one down. What could possibly go wrong?
I don't know. Every time you have one of your ideas, I end up getting grounded.
You'll both be grounded if you fail biology class.
Our reading suggests the malicious fungi are somehow supporting the new metaphors that are blocking your path.
Translation, kill the mushrooms to open the root door.
This is an objective we will be tasked with fairly frequently, though not nearly as frequently as in the original Death Jr. Sometimes we will need to destroy a certain number of enemies to open up a door.
That did it! The roots blocking the way have receded.
There are quite a few places in this game where we will have the opportunity to run straight past enemies, or rather where we don't need to fight the enemies, but we should anyway to avoid getting shot down while platforming. This game is far less strict about gating your progress than the original Death Jr., but it is still linear, don't be mistaken. After this barrier activates, we will be swarmed by flying enemies. We did see a few flying enemies earlier, but that was from a distance. Now, melee attacks are almost entirely useless against flying enemies. You can use melee attacks to take down flying enemies, but as your melee only has a soft lock-on and you have virtually no aerial melee attacks, it's better to use guns.
Brilliant, DJ!
Those flying enemies were fairly basic, as I'm sure you could tell. They only seem to fire a single shot at a time, and it's easy enough to strafe around them. The fungi are even easier enemies. You might have noticed that just a single one of our 3-hit combos is plenty enough to take the fungi down. But we're still in tutorial land, I suppose you could say. We're still learning the ropes. I do make an effort early on to run around and grab as many experience points as possible because we're going to need the first 2 melee upgrades we get for the next few levels. Or I suppose need is a strong word, but for the tactics I intend to use, we're going to want them. The further we move into the game, the more useful guns will become, but early on the melee attacks do serve quite a purpose in fighting stronger enemy types. Or large numbers of basic enemy types, for that matter. But I'm getting ahead of myself. We're planning for the future, but we're not quite there yet. There's nothing too threatening around. Speaking of the future, though, you may notice there are a whole lot of ammo crates, an excessive amount, in fact. You can expect that to gradually change as the game goes on, so we'll need to be more conservative with our ammunition. And after we bust open this next pod, we'll get our melee upgrade.
Particularly small ham. what today is?
The day before we fail biology?
Actually, you know, today is...
Hey, do you see what I see?
I saw it first.
Yo mama saw it first.
She did?
If you're wondering why exactly we never see Pandora outside these cutscenes, that's because she's a second playable character. She's virtually the same as DJ, sadly. She was mostly added for the cooperative function, which we're not going to be taking a look at. Anyway, this is yet another root door and we need to destroy 10 enemies. We're going to be focusing on the flying enemies first because, as was previously established, the fungi are almost useless. These being the earliest enemies, of course, they don't deal a lot of damage no matter what. But it's still good practice to get used to dodging both ranged and close-range enemies simultaneously while moving around an arena, because we're going to be doing that a lot. Anyway, the particularly small ham melee upgrade we got is used for crowd control. It pushes enemies away from us, and it's a replacement for the dodge button from previous games.
That's weird. It's like they're protecting that cocoon or something.
Protecting it from your 10 thumbs.
It's worth an A for sure.
That sucker sure is big. First one there gets the A. You better start looking for your own. This one's going home with me.
Over my dead body. Mine! Great, now I'm getting an F.
What was that?
Is it dead?
Ugh, please tell me yes.
Finally, my transformation is complete. Behold the size of my... Ah, gross! No! This isn't right! I'm not done! I was supposed to transform into something terrible! This isn't terrible! This is icky! This is totally not like the picture on the box. Do you have any idea what you've done? I shall rain down destruction so fierce, you will wish you were back in middle school.
But we still are in middle school.
Ah! For flinching. Need some minions. Stat. I can't believe we got flinched off a cliff. Let us never speak of this again. Pip!